Today I'm going to be making the classic Americanese Chicken Chop Suey, steamed rice, and pork egg rolls. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell for notification when new videos are posted. Thank you. So I'm going to start out by mixing up the marinade for the chicken. And I'm just going to mix it right here in this bowl, and then this is the bowl I'm going to put the chicken in when I cut it up. So save a dish there. So we got soy sauce, oyster sauce here, little Mirin wine. Now they call for a different Chinese wine I can't pronounce. Little cornstarch and some oil, salt and pepper. And I'll just whisk that up good. Alright, next I'm going to cut up the chicken. Clean it up as well as I go here. Remove any extra fat. There's not much on it. Now I'm using boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and the recipe originally called for chicken breast, but I like the thighs better. And they're a lot more forgiving to cook. And I'm just cutting these up into equal bite-sized pieces. So now I'll just mix the chicken up with the marinade here and set it aside. Next up, I'm going to start chopping the veggies. There's quite a few veggies to chop for this. Most of this recipe is just chopping veggies and then a little stir frying at the end. Now, one thing I found when you're making stir fry, the best thing is just to have everything ready before you start. That way there's no waiting and like mixing up sauce or slicing up some vegetables or something while the other ones cook. Because what ends up happening is then you overcook the meat, you overcook the vegetables. So I just like to have it all ready, and you can just do it and when you're ready, and then you can, when the vegetables are done, you can do the saucing and everything, and then take it off the heat, stop the cooking before everything turns to mush. Okay, so I've cut up one zucchini and basically one carrot. I used the baby carrots and used 12 or so. Next up we got the red pepper. You don't see me washing these, but I do wash all these before I cut them up if they haven't been washed already. You can of course use any color peppers you like or multiple colors. Now an onion, medium white onion. And I cut off the stem and leave the root end on. Just so it holds it together and doesn't release the onion vapors that make your eyes water so bad. Fairly large, decent chunks there, slices. And I'm just stacking the cut up vegetables onto one of these flexible cutting mats. I like those because they're fairly easy to carry and pour into the pan when you're ready to go. Now, the recipe calls for Napa cabbage, but I've got this regular cabbage that I left over that I'm just going to use that up. There's not much cabbage in it anyway, so I think this will work fine. Next up is a half a pound of mushrooms, and these are pre-sliced but I'm going to go ahead and chop them a little smaller. More bite size. Some of them are pretty big, so. I like to use the pre-sliced ones if I'm not going to have them sit in the refrigerator for too long, so. Because they go bad faster than the whole ones. Now the recipe only calls for 4 ounces. But I got this whole thing. I'm just going to use the whole 8 ounces. The cutting mat's getting full, so I'll just put those back in the container. Next I'm chopping up parsley. The recipe calls for cilantro, but I've got parsley, so I'm just going to use some of that. That'll give a nice green color anyway. So that's pretty much it for chopping up the veggies. So next I'm going to measure out and rinse the rice. Get it started. And I just rinse it this way over the sink. Just fill it up with water and dump it out. Do that 2-3 times, whatever, till it's fairly clear. Get all that starch off there so it doesn't stick together. I'm going to use my Instant Pot to do the rice. So you just put in the rice with an equal amount of water, sprinkle in a little salt, and then cook it for 3 minutes. Comes out perfect like every time. Now I'm going to cook this a little bit later, but I just want to get it ready now. And when you're putting the lid on the Instant Pot or any pressure cooker, always make sure you set that vent to seal. Next I'm going to mix up the sauce. And like I said, I like to have everything ready before I start cooking. Stir fry. So soy sauce and oyster sauce again. Similar to the marinade. Then some salt and a little black pepper. There we go, ready. It's a little later now, so I'm going to go ahead and start the rice here. I'm just getting ready to start the stir fry, so it's 3 minutes, let her rip. I'm just going to use some frozen egg rolls. Egg rolls are not something I want to make very often. They're quite a bit of work for dinner. So I just use these frozen ones, and they're pretty good. These are pork egg rolls. And I cook these in the toaster oven on the air fry setting, just according to the package directions. So we're just going to do 375 for 14 minutes. And time to start the stir fry here. Get some olive oil in the pan and get the pan heating up. Once it's up to temp there, add the chicken. I'm going to cook the chicken first, cook it completely, and I'll set it aside and cook the vegetables. And we'll add the chicken in near the end just to warm it back up. That way we're not overcooking the meat while we're cooking the vegetables. So like anything, you just want to keep anything you're frying, just keep moving around. We're going to get some color on it here. Make sure it's cooked through. Like I said, I like to use the thighs because they're so forgiving. You can overcook these and they won't get tough. Probably get more tender Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to put them back in the bowl there, and I did wash the bowl out. It's not the raw chicken bowl anymore. It's clean. Okay, and you can see all that nice fond there on the bottom of the pan. I want to keep that. That's going to add some flavor. Alright, in go the veggies. You can see how nice that mat works just to dump all that in there. Let's get it mixed around, get some oil on it. Alright. So I let those cook for a little while, and then I added in the mushrooms. Now I'm doing the garlic. Calls for 6 cloves of garlic, so that's 2 tablespoons. Mix that together. And then it's just frying and stirring and frying and stirring as the vegetables cook. And they're going to cook down a little bit. The pan's pretty full right now, but they're going to cook down enough the chicken will go in there easy. So you can see they're releasing their water in there, so steam's coming off there, and that juice they release is dissolves the fondant on the bottom, and so the cleans right off there, mixes right in. All right, add in the sauce. And we'll mix that in there good and let it cook for a few minutes. Now the vegetables are still a little bit crunchy here. I like to taste them as I'm going along and just see how done they're getting, you know. The zucchini is probably the most cooked, but everything else is pretty good. Now we're adding in the cornstarch slurry, and this is going to thicken up the sauce. And I do like to make sure I get all the cornstarch mixed in there good. I don't want any lumps in my sauce. Now using cornstarch to thicken this, the cornstarch becomes translucent or almost clear, but it gives it a nice glossy look to it, just like you normally see on Chinese food. It's either the glossy cornstarch thickening or oil, but sure makes it look tasty. Okay, now that the sauce has started to thicken, we'll add the chicken back in. So we can coat it with the sauce and heat it back up. It's actually still warm, hasn't been out that long. So the stir fry is pretty much done, so we're going to add in the parsley here and the bean sprouts. They don't need to cook much at all. Now this is a 12-ounce bag of bean sprouts. The recipe calls for 4 ounces, but I'm going to go ahead and use half the bag, with about 6 ounces. Now in addition, to give it a little bit of heat, I got some garlic chili sauce here. And I'll list that in the description below, which one I'm using. But you could add some sriracha or something. Alright, stir fry is done. Set it over on our buffet here, our little mini buffet. So let's grab our egg rolls here. Nice and toasty. Alright, almost ready to serve. Just going to put some toasted sesame seeds on here after I open it correctly and not dump the whole container on there. Next I'll just fluff up the rice here. It's good steam coming off. Nice and warm. Okay, so dinner's ready. Got our pork egg rolls, our chicken chop suey, our steamed white rice, and I've even got some choy chow mein noodles to sprinkle on top. So here's my plate. I just started out with a pile of white rice, covered it with the chicken chop suey, and sprinkled on some of the chow mein noodles. And I got the egg roll and some of the Panda Express sweet chili sauce. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when new videos are posted.